going around and you're hearing from people that have read the book, and they come to you and they say, "Oh, I was so moved by this particular speech." Like they find something like a little treasure in your book. What do you hear from them? Like what are some of those treasures that people find?
Well, I would say that one of the things that I really worked hard to achieve with this volume is to demonstrate, to show that women, to show, I would say, the diversity, the rich diversity of voices, of women's voices. So roughly half, a little less than half, maybe 45% of the speeches in the volume are by women of color. And I hear a lot people say, I had no idea so many Native American women were speaking, so many Black American women were speaking through the centuries, so many Asian American women and Latina, Hispanic. So I think it's natural, it's human nature for us to look for people who represent us, who look like us and share our backgrounds. And that's been moving to me. It's not a white woman's book because the history of women's voices is not white. White
Yeah.
women and Black women and women of every background and ethnicity and race, they shared the platform or they spoke out in their respective venues, and they spoke out for causes that were reflective of their own positions in society.
Mm.
Um, in the speech bank, it's interesting, their speeches are arranged in categories. And the very first one, because they're alphabetical, is anti-slavery. And if you look in anti-slavery in that category, you see so many speeches by Black women who were speaking out, of course, before the Civil War and before the Emancipation Proclamation, and so many white women, mostly Protestant white women, who were moved by their Christian faith to speak out against slavery. But it really is, it's heartening, it's moving to see that and to realize that those voices haven't really been assembled,
Right.
documented like that. And it's the same for every category. In every category, you click on it and you see, oh my goodness, so many different women from different backgrounds and experiences were speaking. And a lot of people have said to me that it's like this scale fell from their eyes when they see that. Because look, of course, I guess I always talk about this when I give my talks. I usually ask my audiences, who were some of the famous speakers in American history? And they always rattle off, oh, Patrick Henry or Abe Lincoln or Frederick Douglass or JFK or MLK or RFK or Martin, all these men. Or even if it's an international audience, they'll talk about Mahatma Gandhi or they'll talk about Winston Churchill. They almost never mention a woman.
Mhm.
Almost never mention a woman. If they do, it's usually
Eleanor?
well, an Eleanor, maybe a Helen Keller, maybe Michelle Obama or
Mhm.
Hillary Clinton because they're recent, maybe Maggie Thatcher, but very few. I mean, predominantly people associate rhetoric and public speaking with men, and that's really what I want to change, and that's why I'm trying so hard to get this book into public libraries and even classrooms.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, is there anything we didn't cover that you would like to tell our listeners?
Well, I do have an ask. If people are moved by this project and see and feel that it makes that it adds awareness to their appreciation of history and they think it's valuable, please call your public library and ask them to buy the book or buy a copy for your daughters and your sons and nieces. But I don't mean to be like a hard sell, but I do think public libraries should have this book because they're hard to find resources.
Right.
I really dug through the archives, dug through the manuscripts, and I'm still uncovering more speeches all the time. So I would encourage people to join me in this campaign to change how we think about who spoke in history.
I love that ask. I think that's just so good. I